What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to your $15,000 EIDL grant and 24 months of working capital update. It is Friday. Thank God for that. September the 17th, 2021. Please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. Hashtag EIDL with your comments below. Don't forget, you can find me over on Twitter at TrySmallBiz. That's at TrySmallBiz, username SmallBiz Inc., where I'm duking it out with every senator, congressman, men and women, including their staff, to get you and your family the money that you deserve. All right, speaking of money, for those of you that have an ACH problem because you use something like Chime or Cash App, are you ever going to get your money? And if so, how? Speaking of getting your money, are the restaurants going to get any cash out of the House or the Senate? Right, Big Ben Cardin, by way of the RRF. And what the hell are these Build Back Better mofos, particularly on the Democrat side of the aisle, talking about with respect to this $25 billion that just passed of generational small business assistance? So, ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. Grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine, whiskey on a big rock, tall bottle of water. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me start off with some good news. You still have plenty of time if you're a low-income community member looking for 10 or plus 5 on the supplemental with respect to the grant. At the rate these guys and gals are going, they're not going to call a vote on the infrastructure bill until September the 27th, and then they're going to duke it out, right, Joe Manchin, with respect to $3.5 trillion of budget reconciliation. I will not be surprised if this doesn't pass until sometime between Halloween and Thanksgiving, and by the time President Biden gives his John Hancock, I mean, we could be looking at Christmas. So that sucks if they don't do something with respect to the restaurants, which I'll talk about in a second. But if we're looking to get on the outside, 10% chance that they actually get rid of the low-income policy map so they can give everybody, while the money's still there, over $25 billion strong. The longer the delay, the more they push this out. And by the way, there are some talking about pushing it out into January or February, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but they're certainly not in a big fucking hurry because there's starting to be some cracks among moderate Democrats, like a Joe Manchin or a Kristen Sinema and others in the House that are a little nervous about spending $3.5 trillion when we have inflation at 13-year highs. So if you're looking for the grant, you got to be in a low-income community, but I'm still fighting for everybody on Twitter and YouTube, and I have every chief of staff in the United States Senate. They hear from me probably more than they want to. So what the hell do you tell them, Jason? Well, I tell them, don't you be getting rid of that fucking money. Big Ben Cardin said he wanted to put it back, so put the money back. Don't be stealing $31 billion for the infrastructure bill. Get rid of the low-income policy map. We have 5 million, and I've said this relentlessly on Twitter. We have 5 million middle-income families that were screwed out of the 10 grand, might as well say plus 5, that they were promised in the CARES/American Rescue Plan. We're never going to take our foot off that gas. But we also have a major problem right now with respect to the restaurants. There was another article out from Forbes the other day, 35%. And don't forget, there's 177,000 that didn't get anything. They applied several months ago, 6 months ago, if not longer, and 177,000 or 65% of the restaurants that went after the RRF got a big fat fucking goose egg because they ran out of money. So while Congress likes to come on and talk about how great this Build Back fucking Better bullshit is and why there's supposedly $25 billion over the next 10 years that you're going to be able to get your hands on, we have a major problem with restaurants. So to all my restaurateurs out there, all you have to do is watch these videos or see what I'm doing on Twitter and behind the scenes. I can promise you, guys like Blaine Lutenmeyer, who's got the $60 billion CARES Act in the House, and Big Ben fucking Cardin, who's trying to get $48 billion through the Senate, they hear from me almost every single day, whether it's a call, a voicemail, an email, or on Twitter. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, everyone is paying attention. The staff, I'll give you one example. Chuck Schumer's staff combs through every post he does, and they read all the comments. And I am often the number 1 or 2 most liked, commented, and retweeted in all of his entire thread. So they know exactly who we are. More importantly, they know exactly what you need. Another $50 billion or thereabouts for the restaurants. Another 50 billion of PPP, particularly for the smaller of small business owners. And yes, get rid of that fucking low income policy map while we still have over $25 billion of Eidl grant money at the SBA. So everybody, regardless of size, location, or credit score, can get the fucking money they were promised in the CARES Act. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going as fast as I can today. My computer just shut down. You're seeing a lot of noise at 5.5 minutes from the Democrats in particular. Build back better. It might as well be buy your fucking vote, because I am sick and tired. By the way, in case you didn't know, that actually originated in the United Nations, one of the most corrupt organizations in the entire world, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Build back better is not President Biden or Vice President Harris and the Democrats' slogan. It came from abroad. I don't know, the Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group. They came up with the BBB somewhere just to hypnotize us into this new socialist utopia where they're trying to turn the United States into something like you might see in France or Italy or even Greece. By the way, all three, or at least two of those three companies, are about to go fucking bankrupt the next time we have a major recession. But that's a whole nother story, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we just give out everything free? Why don't we just run the debt up to $50 trillion so we can just go through a bankruptcy together, cut every asset in half, and start all over again? That's probably going to happen in it coming to a theater near you. I would say 2029, on the 100th anniversary of the 1929 crash. Yes, the stock market's going a hell of a lot higher in the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, but there's one hell of an implosion coming, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. All right. Are you keeping up with me on this Friday? Tell me how you're doing in the comments. Where do you stand? Are you still looking for money? Are you in reconsideration? Let me know where you are with respect to the 24 months of working capital in particular. All right, $25 billion did pass in the House Committee for Small Business. So what does it mean to you? It means more 504 and 7A loans, micro lending. I forget the third tranche, but the problem is it's over a 10-year period. So as I've been saying relentlessly on Twitter, we don't need $2.5 billion over the next 10 years totaling $25 billion. That's like taking a fucking thimble of water and throwing it on a house fire. Where are we going with that? Answer, nowhere. We need $50 billion for the restaurants right now. We need $50 billion right now for smaller businesses on more PPP. And we need at least $25 billion to cover 5 million middle and high income communities that were fucked out of the $10,000 they were promised in the CARES Act. That's money that's going to happen right now. But if you look at this bill, it's all debt. It's more debt. It's more loans. And yeah, the rates are pretty cheap, anywhere from 3.5% to 5 or 6%. And in some cases, you can get millions of dollars, depending on where you live or what the color of your skin happens to be, of course. But we don't need loans. We don't need more debt right now. We need grant money. The restaurants, the live venues, the small business owners, they need fucking grant money. And as I've been telling Congress relentlessly, believe me, folks, both in front of you on Twitter and in YouTube, but behind the scenes, I've explained to them, and I'm not an accountant, but I know how the stock market and the business community works. If they issued, let's call it $100 billion of grant money to cover restaurants, live venues, and small business owners, both in PPP, which is forgivable, kind of like a grant, and as well as the EIDL, that's going to create immediate economic activity. It's going to generate a gigantic boost in retail sales. And over time, let's say over the next 3 or 4 years, it's going to generate significant tax revenue for the U.S. Treasury. So most, if not all of the $100 billion would come back to the federal government. But they don't seem to want that. Why? I don't know. They want to enslave you. The great reset that we're witnessing here, the ultimate transfer of wealth out of the hands of folks like you and me into Jeff Bezos, who got so fucking rich during the lockdown that he retired. And he's hanging off on some island, injecting himself with growth hormone. You ever see the guys walking around like jacked? Don't get me started there. I respect what the man has done, but he has destroyed millions of mom and pops, and he doesn't pay his people well enough. So tell him, if you see him, go fuck yourself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I haven't broken any F-bomb rules today, I hear you, Ma. She says rude and crude. You're crossing the line. Jason, my mom died, in case you knew, about 5 years ago. She hangs right over the desk. And whenever I start getting dirty, or I dropped, I think, probably 15 F-bombs today, you're being rude and crude. Jason, you're being rude and crude. Knock it off. All right, so we're going to knock off the swearing. And let me summarize by this, ladies and gentlemen. There's mass confusion at the SBA. We don't know if EIDL 2.0 applies to just over 500,000, those that are seeking, because we have the grace period until October the 9th, or is it everybody? I tend to think it's the over 500,000, and I'm not certain on that because we're getting folks that are reaching out every single day and getting funded. And I ask them, did you have to go through Eidl 2.0? No. Did they ask you for the real estate assets? No. Did they ask you for any giant amount of collateral with respect to your loan? No. Now, most, if not all of those, of course, are under $500,000 in total. And don't forget, you have to subtract what you got last year. So if they offer you $400,000 and you got $100,000 last year, you're going to get a $300,000 wire. So we need more clarity from Ms. Guzman. Believe me, she's well aware of it. We need to understand, is Eidl 2.0 just for those over $500,000 to the max of $2 million, or is it everybody? Because they are servicing the under $500,000 crowd right now. I don't have an answer to that. I know Builder doesn't have an answer for that. I haven't heard Ryder get a definite answer for that. And where the hell has Max been? I hope he's okay. I know he's down in Puerto Rico, but I haven't seen the guy do an Eidl video in 2 weeks. So if anybody knows where Max Maher is, let me know in the comments. I hope he's doing well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will keep wailing away. Went a little too long, 11 minutes and small change. Always remember, I love each and every single one of you, and we're going to keep fighting until you and your family get the money that you deserve. Until next time, thanks for watching.